Folks, welcome to another edition in Real Estate Experts. As always, I'm your host, Glenn Twiddle, bringing you leading experts from around the country and around the world to help you, the home seller, maximise top dollar on your property when you're choosing to transact one. And today I'm really honoured to be bringing you author, hired gun consultant, trained negotiator, and really, truly one of the true good guys of this industry. He's got a reputation for helping clients a mile long. I'm talking about none other than David Weir. David, thanks so much for hanging out with me, mate.
Pleasure, Glenn.
So David, before we get on to some of your expertise about how you've literally helped so many people get so much more for their property than they would have otherwise, mate, the obvious thing that obviously visually it comes to mind, tell us about your background and tell us about how, having one arm, I think you've got the reputation selling these things single-handedly. I love it. You've really embraced that and you take that, what others might consider some sort of disadvantage. Mate, tell us about your take on really what you've been born with.
Being born with one arm is an obvious physical difference. A lot of people, for me, it's been a distinct advantage in life growing up. So there's times, obviously, it's been challenging, frustrating to work out how to do things differently or get around problems, which is one of my absolute assets for me in my life, is being able to think outside the box like that when I'm faced with challenges. And also growing up with all my mates and school, wanting to play sport and soccer and cricket, baseball, all those things, and I gave everything a go. Wow. I became a spin bowler at school. I became later on, when after school days, got on the playing pool table, got into pool competitions. So for me, it's been a natural course to learn how to do things differently, and to set myself up there with the rest of the competition in school. So I've spent my life going hard, and I love a challenge, and when I get that challenge, it's a burning desire and passion inside of me, which is now naturally filtered on into my career and in working life, and then in the last 15 years in real estate, which is my absolute burning passion to succeed and win and beat the competition. So.
Well, and I love how you now do that on behalf of clients when selling their home. I mean, many agents, they really just want to get a property sold at any price. Yeah. But it's like you're taking that desire and that winning attitude, and now you apply it for someone else's best outcome, and not only your own. I love that. And mate, I heard from a world famous keynote speaker, Tom Panos, who in fact, his quote, let me get to his quote first. It was, sometimes gifts come very strangely wrapped. It seems like that's the case in your case, isn't it? That a wonderful gift come in a pretty strange package.
Yes, it's a package that I'm sure for my mother, I guess would be a surprise. It's a package and thing, we all want the best for our children and things, and for me, I want the best for my clients as well. I want that the ultimate outcome in being able to get the property sold in a shortest period of time, but for the absolute, top dollar, because that's where the big buzz for me is. The big kick for me is that appreciation and acceptance of my client saying, Dave, can't thank you enough for everything you've done. It just made a massive difference.
I love it.
That's what I chase.
I love it. And in fact, to the point where, actually tell us one of the key takeaways you gave, because you actually spoke recently, with hundreds of agents there to come and get your advice at a seminar. So you've got agents coming to you saying, Dave, how the hell do you do what you do? So you're educating the other agents in how to do it. What was a couple of pieces of advice you gave those agents that were coming to you for help?
I always go back to the heart. I say, look, you've got to dig deep inside and find that core primary desire to be able to, deliver the result for your clients. It's not about us, it's about the client, it's about the customer. And I think some people just lose sight of that, and sometimes through panicking, if they hit challenges in the marketplace or they haven't been selling much. And there's that real fine line there where I think people as humans, you get tempted, and the difference between those who are average and those who succeed are really set themselves apart in the marketplace, and their customers are the ones who don't compromise, never compromise. Stick to your guns, work hard, just stay on the course, and you will get that result.
Wow. And mate, so tell us, I know that people in the northern suburbs of Perth, I mean, literally they've got an easy choice, right? They call you, I get that. But if someone was living in Brisbane, one of my viewers might be in Brisbane or Sydney or Melbourne or whatever the case may be, how do we find the David Weir over in Brisbane? So we know that we're dealing with someone who walks the talk, as opposed to just talking it, because every agent across the country, all of them, can say that they'll do those things that you just described. How do we know we're dealing with someone who'll do it as opposed to just say it?
I think it's a couple of ways. Obviously, I think before I was in real estate, we were thinking about selling our first property, my wife and I, and we looked around and thought, well, who do we go and ask? We have no idea, and it's a scary thing, and I've never lost touch with those emotions and experiences myself.
Yeah.
But I would go out there in the marketplace and, sort of dummy shop dummy shop the real estate agents, go to the home opens and find them, see how they're talking, ask them questions like, why they're selling, and see whether or not they actually answer that, whether they tell them things they maybe shouldn't be telling people about the seller's circumstances, may be challenging or very private, and test that integrity for one. Don't just look for who's got the most signs up saying for sale. Look for the person who's got signs up, but also have sold stickers.
Yeah, okay.
Because anybody can walk in and just tell you whatever you want to hear, and some people out there, they get good at that, and unfortunately tell them not so much the truth of where they need to be in the marketplace. But dummy shopping competition, go out, see how you feel comfortably, see, you will sense it, go follow this. Follow this. Use a bit of smarts, but follow this.
And you mentioned to mystery shop or dummy shop, the open houses, and maybe ask some questions. I've had some viewers ask me, they've gone and done that, and they've checked out agents, and they've never heard from them again. And look, less often, but still, the other end of that, they've found, like, as soon as they do, it's like they're being stalked by the agent. Yeah. Mate, what sort of happy medium should I be looking for in terms of follow-up? I know that obviously being ignored is unacceptable, and obviously being stalked is unacceptable. Yeah. So what should we be on the lookout for if we do that? Level of service of follow-up, where's the sweet spot?
I think for me, in a home open situation, I think it's important that you, as an agent, I find a bit of needs analysis. Being skilled, you can see if somebody's skilled in these areas. For me, with buyers, I'll sit there and I say, so what are you looking for in the area? How long have you been looking? So ultimately, what are you guys hoping to achieve by, maybe moving into this property here? And I'm already, even at that point in the conversation, I'm starting to subtly map it out that should this be one that suits their needs and ticks those boxes, I'm already in that sell mode. It's definitely a skill. It's like any trade. It's something which you practice all the time. But looking for the real estate agent who's going to follow you up and, like you're saying, not stalk you. Yeah. It's about it's a relationship that you're trying to build with that person, and it's not just a relationship just for that moment in time when you just bang, going to close the deal, think, wham bam, thank you ma'am, I'm out of here, got my money. It's yes, I've helped you into the home of your dreams, I've value stacked it, so you're going to pay more to the seller anyway, so you're doing that job, so you're not compromising that, and then find it's build that relationship, so at the end of it they go, man, we paid good money for that, but geez, can't thank you enough, David, this is the house of our dreams. Yeah. You find an agent who's showing attention to the person and not just trying to do so, oh, thanks for coming home, mate, what do you think? Did you want to put an offer in? I mean, hang on, there's a mountain of stuff in between that that nobody's taught them how to do. So it's about being skilled. I mean, I've been doing this a long time, and I just live, eat, breathe, training. I can give my car keys, go to my car now, turn it on, and there's the CD on.
I love that about blokes like yourself, even the guys who are educating the rest of the industry on how to do well, you're normally the one educating yourself the most. I love that about you guys. So getting back to, why do you think that those agents that I've heard that just simply don't follow up at all, or really don't follow up much, are they leaving stones unturned? I mean, what do you think is going through their mind when they don't follow up? I can't understand it.
Well, I think there's a fine line of that, and I've heard, over the years, a lot of different attitudes or philosophies on this. It's, do you follow the client up? How soon do you follow them up? I think you need to follow customers up, absolutely, because who knows, maybe they're trying to, play possum. Yeah. I also believe that if somebody likes the property, as long as the agent is not some, pure salesman, doesn't care about them, because that can actually put a buyer off, and even if they want to buy that property, it's going to be a hindrance, because now you've got this negative resistance against the person in the process, and that could cost the seller thousands. Yeah. I think it's a fine line. You need to follow them up, absolutely. Identify the ones who want to be followed up.
Yep.
Some people don't. They just, thanks very much, don't like the house, doesn't suit our needs. I would generally say that's not a problem. Tell you what, let me have give me your name and number and your email, and let me catch up with you later during the week, and I'll identify that. So I'm setting that up anyway. It's a process. Everything's a pre-frame for the next stage. And so I'll set that up and identify, do they need to be followed up today? Are they hungry to buy the house? They're going to give off buying signals. I'll identify that. I'll follow them up pretty much straight away. The other type of customer who sits there and says, no, look, it's nice, but not really our need. They may be playing that pre-frame saying, I don't want to look like the desperate buyer that I'm keen on this house because you're a real estate agent, you've got a shark fin and you're going to come after me. So you've got to find that balance. But follow-up customers, absolutely. You've got to find that balance of when.
It's interesting you mentioned that some salespeople are almost a hindrance to the sale, not a help. I've heard from our viewers that some of these agents out there, it seems, a recent study was quoted saying that a third of the agents that was secret shopped, you mentioned a mystery shop, weren't even nice. Mate, no. I would have thought that was just par for the course, but mate, obviously all agents aren't created equal.
No, I find that a lot. I do actually ask buyers that from time to time, and when I've got the deal, I say, so just had a bit of feedback. Obviously you met a lot of real estate agents out there, and thank you for your comments saying that I'm a nice guy and all that, and you're buying a house. That's a buzz for me. What was my competition like? And I'm not proud to say. The reports that come back aren't great.
Well, it's
good for me, not good for my competition.
Yeah, that's it. Well, no surprise that they're asking you now to educate, agents all across the state of WA and even interstate. It's great to see. Wonderful. So, mate, a moment ago you mentioned a particular situation that I want to expand upon a little bit, and you said, I don't know how you worded it, but I know in your book you spent a bit of time on it, that it's such a big mistake that you see people make when they allow an agent to, I believe you call it, buy the listing. Mate, tell us about what buying the listing is, and you kind of alluded to it a moment ago. Let's go into a little bit more detail, because it's a mistake that you've seen home sellers make so often that it's cost people literally tens of thousands of dollars over your career when you've seen them make that mistake. Tell us what that is and why it's so important to you to spend so much time on it in your book.
I think it's a trait. It's a trait of panic, I believe, in real estate agents or anybody in a professional selling environment.
And what are they doing though?
They're going in. First of all, somebody rings them up and says, "Hi, I'm thinking about selling my house. I've got to get this listing."
Yeah, okay.
And instantly, it's not a good trait. It's not a strong trait. And so what they do is they go in, talk to the customer, and some people are trained to ask the customer what do they think it's worth first, to sort of gauge where they can come back. And I think that's not, for me personally, it doesn't go...
Well, that's what they've called you in, I would think.
It's not the way I would hope somebody would come and approach me if I was selling my home. Buying the listing is telling a customer the property's worth a little bit more and value stack it. Now,
I've heard sometimes it's worth a lot more than that customer might be wanting.
And I've seen this recently, even 10, 12, even to 15% higher.
Wow.
And if you're in a price sensitive market, it's a really dangerous thing to do, because inevitably what happens is the customer's thinking, I'll go with this guy because he's promising me all this money.
This thing's 60 grand more than everyone else is promising. Wow, I'll go with him. Tell me why that's a mistake. What's that going to do to the end result of that seller, and why it's costing the money to believe that?
Well, I believe every property is saleable. Every property is saleable. You just need a really good marketing campaign, a very professional one to put you on the map and make your house look like $1 million or more in some cases. But you need to be appropriately priced in the marketplace. If you go too high, and I know this because I survey buyers all the time, what do you think of this property? They go, oh no, there's no way I'm going to pay that. And they don't even bother wanting to go and have a look at it. And I say, well, this guy over here, what about this property? I'm trying to help one of my customers find a home. They go, oh no, I'm not paying that much in that area. And so they don't even want to look at the house. Instantly, you've shut the process down. The buyer's you don't even get the opportunity to engage the buyer.
There's no chance for them to get emotionally connected to the thing because they never got in there.
You can't sell to somebody you can't talk to.
Yeah,
wow. So that's buying a listing that way. Sometimes on fees. Commonly that trait is a panic trait. They panic they're going to miss out, so they're going to promise you more. They're going to panic and say, oh, well, they know roughly what people may charge or the competition is charging, and they'll go, oh, we can do it for this. And they'll dump their fees and they'll give away their own money.
Yeah.
If they're giving away their own money, what are they going to do to your house?
Yeah, what are they going to do to your money when it's...
They're going to panic, thinking, oh, you know, I've invested all this time, I've got to get the price down. Oh, geez, Mr. Michelle, this is what the market's saying. I think you should take this offer. They're going, no, this is what you promised me. And they're thinking, oh, I've got to get paid here.
Yeah.
And it's not much. So they've discounted the crap out of the fees.
Yep.
They're thinking, oh man, I've got to get paid. See, this panic flows right through.
Yeah, I understand. And it's certainly not a way that, well, they've got a representation obligation to the seller, and it's almost like that obligation goes out the window with this when this panic sets in, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it becomes all about the agent getting paid, not about giving the best service and the best result for the client.
Yeah.
And that's really why you're there.
Yeah. Tell us about how we can find an agent that is truly worth their fee. I mean, literally, as you've seen, there are some sellers that kind of gravitate towards just finding the cheapest agent. Yep. There are some agents that seem like they'll work for $0 almost, you know, and there are some agents that literally look like they're charging a year's salary for an average everyday Australian in order to transact on a property. And now, look, I know that you're not the most expensive in your marketplace, nor are you giving it away. Tell us, how can our viewers kind of tread that minefield of finding an agent that's truly worth what they're charging?
I think there's a few things there. The professionalism, you go to the home opens, you'll find how they're conducting themselves. Are they an agent who's basically selling the seller out and saying the wrong things? It's about looking for the quality of marketing. Are the brochures right? I've seen people, I've been to home opens and it's a black and white photocopy of home open brochure. Yeah. I think there's something really gone wrong there. You know, it's either the whole system's broken down for them in their office, or the photocopy, or they're just doing it really super cheap. Yeah. Finding an agent who's not going to sit there and, when asked, oh, what are your fees, sit there and go, oh, it's normally this, but we can do it for that. Yeah, instantly there's that. They're selling themselves out. Well,
it's almost like you've just out-negotiated the person you're wanting to appoint as a professional negotiator. Yes. And with one question, you've out-negotiated them. Yeah, it's not the sort of expert I want to hire.
No. Well, you didn't have to fight, did you? So how is he going to go and fight out there for you? Yeah. This is instantly caved. And that's, once again, in human nature. And in negotiations, it's sometimes somebody gives. If they give straight away, they're going to do it again and again and again. Yeah. And that's what I find in my travels in real estate and researching and talking to lots of different buyers and sellers, what their experiences were. I talk to customers who, proudly, I think one of the biggest referrals I've got was quite some years back, when you always hear about the seller was happy and he referred you. And I distinctly remember in the early days that a buyer said to me, look, rang me out and said, hi, you don't remember me, but a few years ago we bought a house, we were in Nollamar. Unfortunately, we didn't buy it from you. It wasn't a nice experience. I'm thinking, wow, okay, where's this going? And I remember it was the biggest, for me, the biggest recognition for me was a buyer saying, but we'd really like to sell our house with you. Yeah. There was no one else they called in. Yeah. And so that to me said, wow. And I asked them, I said, oh, so, what was it I did that was so good? He said, oh, well, we went to your home opens, we know your reputation, we know how you conduct yourself, and we just think, you're very professional. Yep. So the buyer was saying, we know your reputation in the area, we see you around a lot, we see, you get the job done, but to also remember that you were just a strong, comfortable real estate agent, and you just gave us so much time. You helped us, even though we weren't buying a house off you and we told you that we didn't like that particular one, you still gave us all the information we needed to go find one.
Yeah. I love that you're, because we're talking about kind of the fees of that real estate agents charge. I love that those sorts of testimonials, that you've got a list a mile long of people saying literally that in their mind, and tell us about some of those wins where you've got clients that literally feel like they didn't pay you at all because you got so much extra for the money. It's almost like the premium price you got them was the discounted commission because you got them so much extra. Tell us about some of those wins and how the bloody hell you do it.
How do you do it? I think part of it is being able to sit down with the customer and not be a salesman with the seller, to sit there and go in there as a consultant and sit there, and I do a needs analysis, and I sit down and say, okay guys, what are you really hoping to achieve? Where do you want to end up? I can sell your house, and I can get you every top dollar in any market for it if you follow the right process. So I spend a lot of time educating the customer and understanding what that process is and how critical it is in some of those things in the marketing, and getting it in the right position to position it right with appropriate pricing, and using the right pricing strategies. And when you do that, the buyers come. Yeah. When the buyers come, now I'm in my element. That's where I absolutely thrive. It's one of those challenges. And because that's when the adrenaline goes, and that's when you get pumped, and that's that passion that burning desire kicks in, and because I know I'm getting close to that result where the customer's going to be stoked, he's going to be loving me, and he's going to be telling all his friends, and it's just that whole process. But look, there's been a couple, and it's awesome when it happens to the older couple who lives in this little villa over here, and they really want to move down south to their country because their family's down there, and he's got a little boat and wants to take his grandkids fishing and all that. And I think that to be part of that is awesome. Yeah. But some of these people, I remember, we've gone to the market, we've used a great marketing campaign, high exposure, appropriately priced. The buyers come, create competition, more than one buyer. Well, you know what's going to happen then. Yeah. They're going to fight it out. Yeah. So now you have the buyers fighting for the property, not the buyer fighting against the seller to drag the price down. Yeah,
I love that you mentioned in your book that you're getting buyers to compete against each other, thus driving the price up, rather than if there's only one buyer and someone says, oh yeah, I've got a right buyer for you, just give me a little sneaky listing or something, and I won't charge you much, they're driving the seller down. Whereas what you're doing is time after time driving the buyers up. Yeah. I love it. It's a masterstroke. Yeah.
If I was selling your house, then you don't want me pushing the price down. You want it going up,
mate. If I was within cooey of your area, bud, there would be no other choice. Yeah. Let me ask you. You mentioned marketing. How is it that you're marketing? Because people would say marketing is marketing is marketing. You take some photos, put it on the net, or whatever. Tell us about the importance of marketing and how we can sort of differentiate as a viewer. How do we know that we're dealing with a quality marketer, and what should we be on the lookout for?
Marketing, you need, number one, you need great science. Great science. You can't sell secrets. And I'm dumbfounded today in today's modern society, high technology, high marketing quality and digitals and all those things that people do in media. I'm still amazed at it. I drive down the street and there's 2 steel pickets and a tin plate, bent up sign, scratched to pieces, looks like it's been thrown in and out about 10 properties, and it says for sale or for lease, and you go, are you for real? You know, it's just, it does not reflect and add value to a property. Yes. So you need good professional signage, you need great photography. I do not photograph my properties, and I tell my clients, look, I'm not going to do it. And sometimes people say, oh, I've got this agent down the road, he's only a few $100s for advertising. I'm going, well, okay, what are you getting for that? You can't be getting a professional photographer, and that is a critical part. And I've done it where I've, guys at work, I've borrowed one of their home cameras and said, mate, just want to do a bit of an exercise here, can I borrow your camera? It's a $2,000 camera. Yeah. Gone in, and I did photography when I was young. Right. Did photography 1, 2, 3 and apply. It was a bit of a hobby, so I know how to take a good photo. So I get a $2,000 camera, take a photo, and then I get this photographer in, and he takes one from exactly the same angle, with his $5,000, $10,000 camera, with his $3,000 flash unit, and then have a look at the difference. Wow. That one over there carries weight, creates a motion. Motion takes a buyer from the mental, logical position into an emotional-based buying decision, takes them into that part, and then they will part with more money and fall in love with the house. Yeah. And that's only
just one component of it.
High profile on the internet. Once again, you can't sell a secret. If you go in on a budget marketing, what I call budget marketing, what a lot of guys do, and that's once again buying listings, we can do it cheap. You end up getting what you pay for. Yeah, well, it's reflected in that end price. And the differences in end price, it's not a few thousand here and there, is it? Because we're negotiating in increments of $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 where we've got that competition that you manage to do. So, I mean, on that subject, another component that I'm really fascinated by, I want to ask you about is, we've got professional photos, and you're taking that next level by instigating professional video into your marketing mix. Tell us about that and why agents are coming to learn about what you're doing with video. They're coming to ask you questions about it and how you're doing it. Tell us about the importance of video, why you're doing it, and are these videos as expensive as they look? Because, mate, they look like Hollywood productions. Yeah, look, Glenn, in comparison to what you're investing, what my customers invest in. And it's not a cost, it's an investment. A cost is something that you're paying for something you're not going to get long-term use out of, or big result. Investing in video. I heard the saying, picture paints 1,000 words. Well, if you imagine if there's 1 million pictures in a video, it creates more emotion.
With the soundtrack, you know, because, yeah, wow.
Yeah, so you're going to be triggering more senses in a buyer. And marketing is all about triggering our human different senses. I mean, we've got, you know, seeing, you know, sight, hearing, all these things, smell, touch. Now, when you got a picture, that's it, still photo. All you're seeing, go to video, now you're hearing. And yeah, with some good music, things like that. It's relatively new in the industry. A lot of people I don't think are using it because once again, you go back to agents buying listings saying, oh yeah, we can do it for this. So they can't afford to do video. Invest in video, from my research and experience, it definitely, I know for myself when I look at something, I go, oh wow, it's nice, and it's got some good music cruising in the background. You know, if it's a coastal home, it just brings back all those senses of being on holiday with my wife or something, and good feelings. It's all about stimulating emotion.
Yeah, tell us why, because I noticed that it's almost like you're hosting the video. You're on there, you're part of the video, and are you using that fact that you become part of the process when the buyers meet you? Because I've heard one of the few of our real estate experts do talk about video, and they've said that it's almost like when they finally meet the buyers feel like they know you, and that rapport process has started for you to start the negotiations on a more friendly basis. Like you use that rapport to get great prices for your seller. Give us your take on whether that's true for you and how that works for you.
Yeah, look, Glenn, absolutely. With when the buyers, you know, they're seeing my face on the internet. They'll see it on the sign when they drive past the property 10 times before the home open, checking out the area as they do. It's that video it once again takes it to another level where they now see my mannerisms and start to, you know, instantly, oh, nice, seems like a nice bloke. It's pretty good. It's a pretty cool bloke. Friendly, and you know, he doesn't look like one of those real sharp, you know, salesman dudes down there on the street and car yards and things like that. No disrespect to car yard people, but I know a couple of guys that are very good at it and very professional. But it's once again goes back to building rapport. It pre-frames the buyer. So when they step into my home open, and a lot of them do, they say, "Oh hi, oh so you know, oh you're Dave Weir, yeah, hi, how you going?" And you know that it's a different reaction to a person who's just stepped straight out of their home and happened to drive past the home open. You can sense it. It's a different relationship happening.
Love it. And I love, we spoke off camera, David has offered our viewers a copy of your book. Mate, tell us about the book and why you felt it necessary to put some of those common sense tips into a book for, you know, for people maybe who aren't necessarily have the benefit of being able to just call you up and get you to do it for them. Tell us a little bit about why you wrote the book.
It's just one of those things where you're just giving, once again, it's giving information. It's adding value to other people. And whether they sell with me or not, it doesn't matter, you know. It's one of those little tiny things that I've had an impact on someone else's life. But probably as importantly is so that they've got some tools and some guidance to go out there in the minefield of, you know, there's hundreds of real estate agents out there, you know, thousands of them, you know, across the city and things. So, you know, in their little area, in the suburb, you know, there might be, you know, one or two, you know, probably about 30, but there might be, you know, a couple that are pretty good. So it'll just help guide them in that process of what to look for and that process of, you know, selecting an agent, going to the market so that they don't get caught up in trying to, you know, do it cheap. You know, and it could literally cost them tens of thousands. I have seen it. I track my competition. I track the market. I've seen things go to the market and go, wow, that much? And the buyers are saying the same thing, and then you watch it come down.
And that's what I love about you, mate, is you'll recommend that if there's a bargain like that, and I've seen you give advice where it's almost like, you know, you recommend to go to the competition because you see, you know, you've been tempted to buy the bloody things yourself. You know, so.
I've seen that, yeah.
Wow, no, it's very generous of you, mate. I love that the common sense tips you give. Common sense isn't always common practice. So, mate, thanks for today. Much appreciated.
No, pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
Folks, another episode of Real Estate Experts in the Can. I've been honoured to have the single-handed salesperson in David Weir, truly one of the statesmen and gentlemen of this industry, one of the best blokes ever. Grab yourself a copy of his book. I thank you on behalf of the viewers, mate, for your time here today. Until next time, folks, another episode of Real Estate Experts. Bye for now.
David was highly recommended to us by a property developer. We knew him as Mr. Nollamara. So initially we got Dave out to do some investigation, I suppose, and give us a little bit of info on a property development we wanted to do and work out how much it'd be worth. And yeah, just from the time that he spent with us and the amount of time he invested with us at that stage, before even having us consider that we were going to sell our house, sort of sold us on Dave and his professionalism.
And he was the best in the area and well
Mr.
known.
Nollamara,
He was fantastic. He definitely got us the price that we wanted, and it was the best price at the time in the area. It was great.
Well, yeah, because the block across the street, which I mean, our block had a restriction on it, so in technical terms it was a little bit more difficult to develop, but Dave managed to get a better price for our property than a property over the road that didn't have the same restrictions. So.
That sold a month before ours did, so that was great. The marketing was great. We absolutely loved the sign that he did. He really capitalised on the best features of the house. In the photos, in the pamphlets, everything was of very high quality and it looked amazing.
Yeah, just the small things like, you know, having the signs in a position so that the oncoming traffic can read them as they're approaching the property, as opposed to them being parallel to the road and hard to see unless you're actually standing in front of it. So yeah, stuff like that. And obviously David's local area knowledge as well was pivotal in sort of marketing the property to the most desirable buyers and that sort of thing. So,
It's all the little things that make a big difference.
we had a figure in our mind as to sort of what we needed the property to sell for, obviously bearing in mind the actual value of the property, and so we were at the high end, you know, because we needed an amount to help us get to our next goal, and yeah, David's ability to achieve that figure was great. You know, it really helped us along in our life and getting to where we wanted to be.
Yeah, and we definitely wouldn't hesitate to recommend them or use them again.
No, that's right. I mean, it's certainly not outside of the investment realm at the moment, and you know, next time we want to get back into it, you know, David will be the first person we look up for sure.
What I really like about David is that he, first of all, is a lovely guy, really nice guy. And when I buy something or when I go to sell something, I really like to do it with people who I genuinely like. I think David's a really genuine guy, and David and I share lots of the same values. So integrity means everything to him. That's really important to me as well. He's a really honest guy, and I really like the way that David supports people in his community as well. So for me, with our properties, it was just a no-brainer to use David. For us, it was never about price. I don't think David's the cheapest, but to be honest, I never really stopped to find out. For us, it was about the customer service. So we bought from David first, so we had a great buying experience. And when it came time to sell that property after we subdivided, it was just a no-brainer in terms of who we would use to sell. He knew us. We developed a relationship with him. He knew the area. He knew what was going on. He was just the best man for the job. So cost didn't enter the equation. In saying that, I felt that I absolutely got value, you know, at both things. So the experience as a buyer and then a seller was great. And David's not an order taker, so he pushed for us, but again, not at the cost of anything or anyone. So that was a really good experience too. I just felt like David was our number one fan, so it's kind of looking at us, looking at the situation and location, thinking about market, and really thinking about what was going to work best in that market. And David's an expert in the market that we sold in, so he knew the community, he had potential buyers out there, knew what was going on. So it was very, I think it was well timed. It was a really strong campaign as well, and really geared to what people that were going to buy into the area were looking for as well. So really good, strong campaign. Took very little time to sell the property as well. I think I met David for the first time probably 6 or 7 years ago, and so it's a testament really to our relationship that 7 years later I'm talking about him and his customer service. So it hasn't changed in that it's second to none. What I really like about David is that customer service is everything. It's done, again, with integrity, lots and lots of fun always. And I like the fact that David keeps in touch, with us personally to see how things are going. In terms of my business, he's like one of our #1 fans, always supported business as well. So it's a bit like you sort of chose David to be your agent initially, but David kind of remains a really good business support, the business resource, and a mate as well, 6 or 7 years on, so I really appreciate that. A strong negotiator, but with integrity, so it's never done, I think it's always done within the realm of wanting to win-win, so for the people that he's selling for, and for lots of reasons, for the person that he is, for the real estate agent that he is, for the integrity that he has. I know I keep saying that, but that's just such a big thing, I think, for David and I. And I think the other thing is that David is just a great supporter, a great person, great story, and a great supporter of people locally, people he works with, and people in his community, and I really like that too.